Hello, this is another tough video, tell a friend video, and it's about the world after Corona, or the world after the economic earthquake Corona actually triggered. And if we look at the economy was kind of, economy of the world was kind of in a questionable state. The housing price is high. There was a lot of fake money, so not real money in the market and so on. So maybe there was some time, usually that is being done with a war, like World War I, World War II, you start several wars. So we kind of now, which then leads to the economy kind of resetting itself and going, after upgoing, and then you could go up again, and you kind of have this plot. And now what I think is that the Corona earthquake is kind of, as Miss Merkel, for example, also said, this is kind of as big as World War II, and the earthquake that Corona actually did is to the economy is something like World War II, or the thing that actually was before World War II, that was the big depression, so 1928. So we are now about 90 years from that, and after that, and now what will happen? And my assumption on a very big scale is that dollars and euro, and maybe the Chinese yuan or renminbi, I think it's called, that they might be threatened. Now the thing is, then, so maybe they will be threatened by this economic earthquake, because now the Fed, Federal Reserve Bank, which is private, so they can print as much money as they want to. The European banks, European Central Bank, ECB, they might be able to print money as well. So, but they will print money in excess of maybe 1,000 billion, and the Fed maybe even more. The Fed already, I think it was 4,500 billion. They printed anyway. So it's, if they now print another 4,500, so I don't know what that will actually do. Now, what might happen is that they all print this money and give it to the population. So we all sit there and have lots of money in our pockets, so we have dollars and so on in our pockets. Now the thing is, there is the goods we have. So here's the food and the cars and the TV sets and so on. So this is actually here in big supply. So if there is enough food and whatever for us, then we will not drag out the money and actually buy these and say, I pay more for bread than he does, and that would actually increase the inflation, because then everybody with lots of money, because that was printed, actually sits there with lots of money and would actually pay more for vegetables, for petrol, for anything. But if there is enough food, so supply, so this is the goods, there's the goods that are being produced usually in China and so on. Oh yeah, there's another thing here with China. I don't know if their currency is also under pressure, so that is for me a question mark. So it could be that then if the dollar goes out or goes into an inflation, then it might go that the Chinese currency becomes the world currency where people trust, because that is the thing, that is the most important thing, that is trust. So everybody has to trust in that the money he holds in his pocket actually is worth something. Otherwise you need to have gold, or you need to have a kind of a can of tin of I don't know, fish that you can actually trade in to somebody else, because that has the value. If you have gold in your hand, that has the value. But if you have a dollar in your hand or a euro, that doesn't have value, except for if these currencies succeed in kind of maintaining that trust in their money. But if you print so much money, and that is now for me a question mark, will our governments print so much money that actually the trust is being lost in the currency? Now, if that would happen, because here, a very quick thing, so if the goods, in case the supply of goods goes down, then the inflation will go up. Then inflation. Yeah, because then people will compete with their money they have to buy goods, and then you will have a very huge inflation. Very quickly, you have a very huge inflation. If the goods will be in big supply, then there will be no inflation, or very much later, or less inflation. Now the thing is, what happens if there would be a huge inflation, let's say in this scenario? So the goods are not being produced anymore because people, I don't want to work for little money, or they don't want to, and so that depends. Will the goods be there in big supply? Then no inflation. If there is shortage of goods, then inflation. If you have a shortage of goods and cause the inflation, then these currencies might go out of business. And now the thing that I learned, and that I think is kind of something that I consider very important, these banks are attached to countries, USA, the EU, and then other countries, and the currency is attached to countries. So this is country-based currencies. Now, what could happen is that if you go to Bitcoin, if you go to these cryptocurrencies, then that would mean, and we have seen that Facebook came out with a They came out with a cryptocurrency. So Amazon and could have a cryptocurrency. Now the thing is, if you think about it, that's fantastic, because in the past, you could say, I'm a citizen of the USA, and that is why I like the dollar. And that is why the USA gives me the dollar, so that I can work with that money. I can buy things with that money. In the EU, the same. You're a citizen of the EU. The EU says, okay, I give you the money, and the citizens of the EU can use that money, and they trust in that money. Now, what happens? How much time or energy or things how much value of our life, because here I'm 100% citizen, but here maybe I'm a 20% citizen of Amazon, because I buy all my goods, or I buy so many goods from Amazon, so I'm a 20% citizen of Amazon. So why shouldn't I have the Amazon money? And in Facebook, why shouldn't I have the Facebook money? So why shouldn't I have the Facebook money? Because I spend 30% of my time on Facebook, and so that would actually then be fantastic. That if these currencies based on countries go bankrupt or go out of business because of the inflation, then actually these cryptocurrencies could actually say, wait, we, like Amazon, market capitalization of 1,000 billion, which is way more than a small country costs. So the market capitalization of these companies is actually higher than some countries, and so that kind of could lead to the idea, why don't we give them the currency? So they give us the currency because we spend so much time on their platforms. And so you would have maybe 100 companies, and these 100 companies, maybe 1,000, I don't know. We have 400 countries, 480, I think, countries. And so maybe we do the same here. We do 500 countries. And these 500 countries have 500 cryptocurrencies, yeah? And then there is an exchange rate between all those cryptocurrencies. So they define that. And so that means you can use your Amazon dollar to exchange to Facebook dollar and so on. And that's fantastic. So that is the new system. Now, I don't know whether we want to do that or whether it's possible to still have, possibility to buy something if we do not, don't make part of these companies, because in a country you can be in the country, but here, so that is for me a big question mark, which is, I draw it in red, but it's actually not a, something I'm afraid of. It's just, what would such a world look like? And maybe it's a little bit different than what I describe here, but it's a feasible possibility that we have not country located or attached currencies, but we have company attached currencies. Fantastic. As an idea, as a science fiction idea. But most probably that will be, well, I don't want to give predictions because they are so difficult lying in the future. So, but 2025, maybe, that could be something that just takes over. So, if you have any ideas to open up the discussion here, I would love to see that in the comments. And see you next time. And I think this will be for a longer time, the last video on this Corona subject, because now I want to concentrate much more with the channel on the Happy Active Healthy 100+ channel, because I think the Corona topic is something that other people play. I just want to know how the game works so I can actually watch it and maybe take some actions for my life, my friend's life, my family's life, the people I care for, and concentrate more on myself and the social interaction with others, so to have a happy, active, healthy life for as long as possible. Thank you very much for listening, and as said, I'm happy to receive any form of comment.